Thank you for joining us again this time. I'm Her Highness Princess Abze Djigma, leading the conversation on the way to COP26 UK. And it's a great honor, and we're fortunate today to have His Excellency Dr. Bastaki from the university, the president of the University of Dubai, a great mind, walking the talk, leading a world-class university. Not only that, but his personal input, paving the way for the youth. You will hear from him. Your Excellency, we're very happy to have you joining us from Dubai. We have also James Garvett, who's the director of Mitigation Division at the United Nations, UNFCCC, and also the acting director of engagement and communication team at the youth. Very most welcome, James. It's a great honor and pleasure to have you. We will really love to hear the inside of what you're doing, your tremendous work changing the world and the climate era. Partnership is very important, and we thank you so much for that. And our young leader from Doha, Neeshad, how are you doing? Neeshad Shafi from Doha, from Qatar, joining us. Thank you for being with us today. It's a great, great pleasure to have you. I know the work that you're doing, mobilizing the youth, walking the talk as well, saying, hey, we the youth, we are in the driving seat. Thank you for that, and we would really love to have you in this conversation. And as I said, it's a conversation. It's not to make sure that everybody understand, own, and go to act about the climate actions. So I would like to hear our friend from the United Nations to craft in a bit, to set the scene to regards of what your division have been doing on mitigation. Thank you, James, again, for being part of that conversation.
Well, thank you, Princess Djigma, Dr. Bastaki, Mr. Shafi, Wouter, colleagues. It's great to be here today and have these conversations. So today I want to talk about the important topic of the integration of climate action in the curriculum and say a bit about what we're doing in the UNFCCC. So climate education, the 6 elements of the Action for Climate Empowerment, or ACE as we call it. So the ACE agenda under the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change and the Paris Agreement. So ACE is about education and training, but it's also about public awareness, public access to information, and public participation, as well as international cooperation on all these matters. The work of ACE strives to empower everyone, with a special focus on gender equity and youth. We need, obviously, everyone involved to be equipped and to be empowered, to be involved. And education is the first step in empowering people to better understand and tackle the crisis of climate change. So climate education helps the learners of all ages become active contributors to creating a more sustainable society and a healthy planet. Importantly, it can empower youth to be leaders on addressing climate change by developing skills, knowledge, attitudes, competencies, and values needed to do this. So that's what we're trying to do with this ACE program in the United Nations.
That is very interesting. Actually, you said that acting, contributing, make the people understand. So Dr. Bastaki, so let me give you the mic. How are you greening the curricula in your wonderful university?
So if I look at it carefully, my idea is that before we even try to educate people, you know that the ACE has the 6 elements, education, training, and other awareness, so on. I think we need to first implement before we even go to educate the people. Absolutely. So University of Dubai was built, the new campus was built only 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, 2015. In December, we moved in, a very beautiful campus. It is a green building, and we have green gold certificate for LEED, plus we have platinum for operations and maintenance. And not only that, we actually 2 years ago, we actually were very bold to start a new project that will make us environmentally sustainable plus economically feasible, sustainable. Why am I saying so? We built a 15,000 square meter of solar panels, and that is providing the University of Dubai 100% or maybe 95%, 5% coming from parking covers. So altogether 100% is covered by solar panels.
It's excellent what you're doing, implementation, leading by example, because
Exactly.
you're setting the tone, you're part of the trendsetters of
Yes.
that other universities can copy you in the right way, that youth
Yes.
also can bring their ideas live, because you have that enabling environment that can allow concretely. That's Wouter here and the studio
Yes.
can understand, say, well, when he goes back, so of course maybe in a few years, and 3 or 4 years, he will be
Yes.
the age to go to university.
Yeah.
By hearing the president of the University of Dubai, you will say, hey, but what are you doing? So I think that you need to move to that path as well, that we, with our solutions, we can move along with that. And Neeshad, what is your take on this one? What are you doing with your great organization so far? I know that you're doing a lot. We would love to hear from you to this regard.
Thank you, Your Excellency. It's great to be here with James, Wouter, and His Excellency Dr. Matthias. Wonderfully mentioned, it's a university or schools are the places where young people come up with molding minds. That's the place where, we set the future, and like Wouter, he will definitely understand that the things he sees will stay in his mind for as long as he's there in the
Yes.
university and beyond that. So it's an ideal place,
Absolutely.
like University of Dubai is doing. It can be replicated everywhere, and it's an excellent example, how you mentioned. As such, we as young people, those who are out of university, we have more options for them too. Because sometimes, like a person like me, I didn't have the opportunity when I was in the university. Maybe I just got it when I just moved out of where or starting my early professional life. So what we does is basically is the same thing, like empowering young people, like the people like Walters, who are super new to the subject. How I can bring the global climate conversation to the layman or people who can understand without much of the science, but
Yes.
with the concrete examples of science.
Yeah, but in terms of co-creation, how are you co-creating things with the universities, for instance, to bring live your
So we are
ideas?
this is something you have to work, which are locally available. So it can be different from each country or region or continent. So what here
Yes.
in Qatar we do is we work with universities and Qatar Chamber of Commerce on SMEs. And some of the SMEs ideas are great that can have not only create sustainable jobs, but also provide new opportunities for young people beyond, the
But
petrochemical jobs.
what kind of green jobs that you already have met on the field that
So right now we have
Wouter can take from there and join
Yes.
you?
So there's some projects. Yeah, definitely. There are projects on water recycling. There are projects on
Water recycling.
sustainable agriculture, hydroponics. These are all creating jobs which
We're
are not
using
very
simple
new
words.
to
What
region.
means hydroponic? Because it's not
Yes.
everybody who knows, because you have those who
Yes.
didn't went to university that you who would like to understand in the simple wordings what you're saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there are many ideas which sometimes can be stay in lab. What we give is this young people an opportunity to come up with ideas that is revolutionary, and that is like you mentioned, co-creating together with support of universities, incubation centers, and it may sometimes succeed, it may failure, but you need to have try them. So what we do is not only building awareness, at the same time giving that co-creation platform to create those ideas into reality.
Yeah. James, if I may bring you in, what is from the example of just Neeshad said, how can you leverage on this one? I know that you're working on the platform and the United. How can you raise it up?
Yeah, well, one of the things about, I was saying at the beginning about AIDS is about awareness and
Yes.
access. And for example, in a report that UNESCO published, I think it was last year on education for sustainable development, and it looked at 46 countries, so it's not all countries, but let's say they looked at 46 countries, and more than half of all the policies and curriculum in those countries don't even talk about climate change.
Okay.
This is an
That's
example of
really
the
much.
problem.
Yeah.
We're not teaching the issue. So how can this awareness and things happen? Well, for example, Wouter here, he should
Yeah.
go home. He should go back to his school
Yeah.
and engage and talk about it and just,
Yes.
tell everyone that the story, and whatever you're doing, whether it's you're playing football or you're going to the movies, are they thinking about the environmental elements of sports? Is there environmental context or discussion on climate change in the entertainment that you're watching? And we just need everyone to be thinking about it and engaging on it. And you can go to your school and say, we need to add this to our curriculum. We need to talk about the issue of climate change. That's one of the things that we hope this program we are doing is helping. It's
Yes.
just getting the ball rolling almost.
And indeed, what's the UEFA is going, Wouter, that we need to keep an eye on our blue ball and come together and score as a great team for sustainability. Dr. Bastaki, I know that you are a tech person, an ITC person, and how can we leverage that? And bring it and what we call formal education and formal education. I did remember in one of your great statements that you have still millions, hundreds of millions of young people who don't get access to the education. How, for instance, we can build on the ITC to bring it while mainstreaming the ACE element, the climate action element, and greening the curricula. If you can give us your wise advice on this one to take it from there.
Yeah, thank you, Your Highness. First of all, I think technology plays a very, very, very important role. I think we depend on our kids because our future, we work on the future for our kids to be sustainable, their life to be sustainable, the society, the economy, and environment. So there are millions of people that don't have access to technology. There was one project actually done by a group of students. They worked on directly connecting to a satellite which gives all the connections to the area where they don't have any access to internet, and using the 5G. This was a beginning of giving access to those places that they don't have. You see, technology, you talk about Internet of Things, you talk about artificial intelligence. These two together actually create an environment that helps the person to understand through using artificial intelligence, IoT to use it, virtual reality, augmented reality. These are things that we need to create the awareness between the youth, especially, that you are our future. You have to understand it. You have to know that climate change is happening and we need to act now. Either waste management, either decreasing the carbon footprint. There's so many things you can do to make sure that future will be still bright. It will be, and we depend on you all. So technology will play that role, because technology, like in University of Dubai, we're even minimizing the cost, the waste. Everything is done through technology. So technology can help in management of the waste, plus also maximizing the output of these kinds of technologies like a solar farm. Plus now there's a new thing coming called clean hydrogen energy. Already we implemented in Dubai. We're using solar farm to produce the hydrogen, and then again. So yes, the technology plays an important role. I think for your future here is to look at jobs like either technology in or green in, like fintech or FinGreen. You look at FinGreen or fintech, plus other things. If you agri-green and agri-tech, you need to put them together always. Once you do that, I think you will understand. But you have to also play that role from now. University of Dubai have students that they go and clean the beaches just to minimize the waste. And we also put a lot of awareness for the society, because the behavior is important. How do you behave in your home? How you behave in your school, so that to minimize the carbon footprint, so to minimize the waste. All these will help the climate change to be much better than what we expect.
Neeshad, your take, after listening, that amazing, that FinGreen, that's amazing. What is your take on that? Whatever you do, green it.
Very, very well said, Dr. Bastaki. Is like how we can use, and technology is a key provider, as per even the UNFCCC believe, in terms of mitigating climate change or adapting to climate change, technology is a crucial partner. And
Yes.
like he mentioned, how they're doing in Dubai, most of them they're putting technology, co-creating things along with technology would definitely change how we use. How the more the tech, the more intelligent it becomes. So the waste generation would be reduced, and it also augmented reality or AI are bringing up more way of intelligence to how reduce the wastage of water or power of its own whenever we are not using it. So the future is like tech with anything that has to do with life. So definitely that would help reduce those things. So also
Yeah.
going back to
Yeah.
how Dr. James was
But
mentioning
yeah.
regarding the ACE,
Yes.
is like how we also work on the ACE part of building awareness. Like one of our program
Mm-hmm.
ambassadors of environment of Qatar is a
Yeah.
program for young people like our colleague here in the studio is
Yes.
to, if there's more information are not available, we build them for
Yeah.
them. We make that curriculum which are not available now in many of the schools, but which should be, and that's what ACE is doing about. So we have programs where we build up young leaders,
I love
who
that
understand climate change.
when the youth they
Yes.
take the
Yeah.
seat and leading and say, well, we are in the driving seat. What we want you
Yes.
as adults to do, like Dr. Bastaki and James are saying, yeah, here is the legal framework with the United Nations, with the ACE. We set the tone. Here we are, to have the tech, the university, who's having that using tech as our partner. It's not our enemy. That for the better future. That is so wonderful to hear. And how about your thought about that? What you just heard from Dr. Bastaki, from Neeshad, and
Yeah.
for James.
Yeah, I think that's a really good project to begin, because I think we don't have not to make it dramatic, but we don't have really much time. We have to just start with people, with children. That we
Yeah,
have to
like you?
start. Yes,
Yeah.
like me. We have to start with.
And what would you what are you already doing at your level? And what can you do at your own level from today, for instance?
Yeah, I'm at school. I sometimes I had, for example, a chapter for a test or about the climate, and I think we could at school, for example, we could do way more.
You think schools are talking about it?
Yes.
But we could do it more. For instance, narrow it down, like Dr. Bastak is doing in his university.
Yes.
With the student, leading by example with project. For instance,
Yes.
at school, you can have also a kind of some little project.
Yes.
That is can also, with the little project, you gain skills. For instance, how to organize, how to lead.
Exactly.
Our friends, then you learn the skills of management, leadership,
Yes.
what we call soft skills, but still it's
Yeah.
something very interesting that that when you will arrive at the university, you don't need to learn them because you already feed them in. And that is so powerful. James, your take on how can we, for instance, with what the UNESCO, with the Berlin Declaration, of education, sustainable development. I know that you worked together for quite some time, and we're grateful to you and your team. Bringing partnership is critical. I would like you to give us a little bit of insight of that partnership that you have with UNESCO, and how for the schools can build on that and bring it more.
Well, again, the idea is, the make sure the knowledge is getting out there, and there's an awareness of everyone's role. And so, and to what you were talking to Wouter there about what he could do. I mean, the UN can also provide tools or help
Absolutely.
in designing perhaps a project for your school to look into things. And I'm sure Dr.
Excellent.
Bastaki also,
Yeah.
to help you have that happen.
That's fantastic. Dr. Bastaki, I know
Yes.
that innovation and it's really at the heart of your work. And I do know that gender equality also, any talk that you made, you don't forget us. Thank you so much for that. And when university brings it, mainstreaming it, walking the talk, I would like to hear from you. about that. That's how the girls, I know that you push the girls to go to techniques, and I love that.
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
directors, your deans, they are females. I love that. Thank you so much for that. Can you share us your
I
ideas
think,
on that, Your Excellency?
you read my mind. I wanted to come in, intervene, and talk about innovation.
Yes.
Actually, before I answer a question, I think
Yes.
you youngsters, you youth, you need to innovate your future. The only way to be sustainable is to innovate your future from now. So now there is a new technique calling green cells. So you can have actually batteries, which are not same batteries, that you can have something that's being used and it still is green, it's clean. So you need to innovate the future. Regarding
That's fantastic.
The gender equality, I think, when I was in the United States, I studied in electrical engineering department, bachelor's, master's, PhD. I didn't have one female student in my class, except those classes which are outside the college. I would find some females. When I came to University of UAE, I was teaching. I realized that 50% of the females in engineering are female students. 50%. So it means in our society, we had that culture that there's no difference between the gender, and we work together to make it happen. Even engineering, some say engineering is not for women. It is. Every discipline a man can do at the same time a woman can do. So I think gender equality is there in even the university, even though a little bit the males are increasing a little bit, but before we had equal, next semester we'll bring them back. So at the end, it's you give them the opportunity. Once you give them opportunity, they will all prevail. They will all be successful. So yes, gender equality is very important. One of the things that, why do we do these things? Why do we look at green economy? Why do we look at sustainability? Why do we look at environment to be clean? At the end, we want a human being to become happy. So human beings' happiness should be the goal for the betterment of humanity. Whatever you do, either to green, either to tech, whatever you do, you have to make sure that it'll be sustainable for the human being. And this will make the human being happy. Once they are happy, I think we've created a very nice world.
That is such a wonderful. You see how I told you that Wouter was saying, I want to have an unforgettable day. This is not. Those are unforgettable.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Words. Yeah.
I think also that if you want happiness, then sometimes you have to give happiness first, and then you can get more back.
Excellent. You see, that's what does up with the entire generation. Simply for our audience, AI stands for artificial intelligence. IoT stands for Internet of Things. Because, of course, the technical, we are not all tech, Your Excellency.
This is also via tech and
the
video.
Yeah, the fintech, green tech.
Yes.
Those are words.
Green, fin green.
Fin green. I think that is something that you can tweet it, you can put it on your social media.
Hashtag Fin Green.
Fin green.
Even biz tech, biz green, you can still do it.
You see, you can still do it.
By the way, I just want to say something you said beautifully. You make other people happy, you become happy. One thing is very important. There are sometimes very short happinesses. Like somebody cheats to pass an exam, he will be happy at a certain time, but in the future, when he goes to work, he will be miserable. So you want to make sure that whatever you do, it's a permanent happiness. It just goes on, continuous happiness, not just to get it today and it will not prevail. So whatever you do for the good of the people, help people, make them happy, you will always be happy. So I completely agree with what you said. I think this is something that we can come out of it today. It's a beautiful word you said, Wout.
By seeing the youth that are interested, I have two daughters myself who are growing up now at university. But it was amazing to see them grow up in this new period where these issues of sustainability, environment were already in their minds becoming mainstreamed, and that made me feel so happy. So these kind of opportunities to do even more, I just welcome them, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity.
No, thanks to you. Really, thank you so much for your spontaneousness and flexibility. Highly appreciated. Neeshad.
Well, thank you, Your Excellency. It's an honor to be here amongst wisdoms of Dr. Bastaki and also James, who have been quite, done their own bits of what they can contribute to our society and community at large. And this is sort of wisdom we need to learn, that our generation has a great to live, but also how our elders have given those wisdom and thoughts that can
Yes.
definitely help pave the path forward. And I am very optimistic in this regard.
Thank you so much for being in the driving seat. So I want to, I will never, I'm a fan. I'm fan of Dr. Bastaki. So your last point to close.
I think your next generation, thank you, Your Royal Highness. You need to look at three main things sustainable to make it sustainable: the social sustainability, the economic sustainability, and the environment sustainability. These three are very important because these, when they connect them together, life will be much better, life will be much happiness. So always try to work, make sure that society is clean, is happy. Once economically you're sustainable, you can stay longer and avail, and it goes on. And then, of course, the environment. You have to take care of the environment. One way or another, you need to learn it. You need to educate people, put the awareness there in your society, and you work on it yourself to become an example. I think this is what our future will look, and I know it will look bright because we have somebody like you kids, you youth that are working hard to understand the environment. And I thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Your Royal Highness, for inviting me.
Thank you so much. With that great note, I'm out of speech. Just go green, be people-centered, and go for happiness. Happiness, happiness, and go for implementation. And Mother Nature, don't forget this. Be cool to yourself, and Mother Nature will be cool for you. So thank you so much, Wouter, for being with us. And you can count on them. You have friends now.
Yes.
You see, you can connect with them. That is, they're inspiring people.
Yes, of course.
And they have the hands on their heart, the heart at the right place. And with that note, thank you for following us, for listening to us, and to sharing your screen. Thank you very much. It was Her Royal Highness Princess Abze Djigma, joined from Dubai, Dr. Bastaki, from Doha, Qatar, Neeshad Shafi, and from the United Nations, CCC, James Garvett. Thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you to the next episode.